You know, like the old bit. Is today your birthday, Jim? Well.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you.
Now, it is my honor and pleasure to give the introduction to this fantastic tape for you to listen to. I have to talk louder? Well, I hope you heard it because I'm not going to repeat it. We're gathered here for a Thanksgiving dinner at the McDonald household. Those present are Jack McDonald, Rosemarie, Max Zimmerman Jr., Fred Grieve, Jim Williams, Mr. Jeske, Muriel, Daddy, Mom, Loretta, Aaron, and Anita. We're all sitting here talking in little groups. Nothing much has been happening. Erin was dancing. We took pictures of her tonight. And she's presently getting into the candy dish. That's correct. Can't think of too much to say right now. I'll pass it on to Loretta. And if I can come up with something at the end, I'll tell you. Loretta.
Hi. Oops. Nita and I are trying to break the candy dish. Not much happening, except I'm just sitting here getting fat and uncomfortable. We all had a big turkey dinner. Rosemary fixed that tonight. And had a good time. We're all full waiting for pie now. I'll pass this on to your mom right now.
Hello, Emery. Well, Rosemary finally had her first turkey. Could have been a little better done, but then so could Margie's that time you were up there. Was delicious and juicy, though. But at least she had courage to tackle the whole gang for the first time.
Oh, Mother, you made the turkey. Don't blame it on.
Do you hear her in the background? This is what you call static. We've had a real nice day, and I feel guilty as all get out that I haven't written to you. But then, of course, you owe me a letter, too. But considering you have more to do than I have, that's no excuse. However, I managed to keep pretty busy, too, with the gang. One or the other usually around. Since we have a handy-dandy laundry at our house, why, there are 3 days a week when we have someone there doing the washing, usually. And with Aaron, I do it every day, so we managed to keep pretty active. Let's see, nothing of interest that I can think of. We had a very nice Thanksgiving dinner here, and we sort of, Muriel brought the sweet potatoes, Loretta the vegetables, and the relish dish. Anita was going to bring the salad, but didn't get to do shopping, so we had no salad, but everybody was stuffed anyway. And I made pumpkin pie. Rosemary made apple and mince, so we're well fortified. Wish you were here with us to enjoy it. Haven't started on any Christmas cookies yet. If and when I do, I'll send you some, dear, but don't hold your breath. Nothing else seems to get done on schedule anymore. I got Muriel sitting here next to me. It looks like she wants to say a thing or two. So long for now.
Hi, Em. How are you? I can't add too much about Thanksgiving. I guess everybody's covered it pretty well, but Jim just had a birthday today, too, so maybe I can say something about that. I kind of had a big laugh over it. There's a relatively new toy out called Tiger Joe, which is a rather large tank that shoots rubber-tipped bullets. And he's been kidding me for about a month that he wants a Tiger Joe so he could terrorize Suki with it. Well, all of this was kidding on his side, but this is running through my head. And as his birthday approached, he kept saying, all I want's a Tiger Joe, you know, in a kidding way. So guess what I got him? I sent him out to the truck last night I told him to get some wash, and I had the Tiger Joe out there, and he went out and got it, and I thought he was going to die laughing. we've had it over here and up at his folks, and everybody's gotten quite a kick out of it. We're waiting now to take it and see how Suki receives this new toy. Aaron didn't like it very well, but this is our anti-Aaron Suki combat machine. Well, not too much to say. Things are naturally a little bit quiet around everywhere right now. I'm a little bit depressed about the national tragedy we've had, and frankly, I can't think of too much joyful to say other than I think Thanksgiving's cheered everybody up, or maybe made everybody a little more solemn about the whole thing. I imagine things are pretty hot down where you are, and I imagine you got a much closer line to all the news down there. Well, we're all sitting around here, and I'm kind of running out of words, so I think I'll hand it over to somebody else. Sure hope to see you at Christmas anyway. So long for now.
Emery, this is Nita. I just had an idea since it's so pained, everyone always coming around saying words. Well, Max and Jim and Freddie are just sitting here talking about the assassination and bowling around, so Mr. Jeske has kind of a little prologue, and then we're just going to hold it down there. You can listen to the three of them, which is better than, having the three of them come over and say, hello, Emery, goodbye. Just saying, here's Mr. Jeske.
Hi, Emery. I guess it's needless for me to tell you you're missed here on Thanksgiving Day. We're all gathered at Jack and Rosemary's. I won't say too much about Thanksgiving. However, I guess maybe you'd be a little curious to know that talk of the presidential assassination still continues. Not so much amongst the women, but amongst the men in this gathering and every place else. Naturally, it was a shock to us, like it was to most of you or all of you there. So Anita is going to put the microphone, I guess unknowingly to them. You might absorb some of their conversation. Good luck, Emery. See ya.
Now moving in a little bit closer to the circle here. I think Max noticed me just a minute.
I'm just against capital punishment for the simple reason, boy, if you ever make a mistake.
That's it. It's very
Well,
hard.
what would you do with Oswald if he was convicted?
That's
You'd
very
have
true.
imprisonment.
What would you do with him?
Life imprisonment.
But what does life imprisonment consist of?
Life imprisonments.
Not as it stands right
If you're
now.
wondering about this part of the conversation, Nita came in and threw the mic down in the middle of a discussion we're holding about Oswald and Ruby and the late president. Aside from that, I'd like to wish you all the best for Thanksgiving, and I guess we'll see you at Christmas time.
Alcatraz. We're under life imprisonment terms with
All
no
right,
chance of
this
parole.
This is fine. This is fine. I go wholeheartedly with you. I'm against capital punishment myself as far as that goes.
Sure, there's a lot of guys that get life
in
imprisonment.
though is this life imprisonment term that only lasts a matter of a few years. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I'm thinking about it. As soon as anything happens, as far as Lori's concerned, I'll try and give you a call. Okay?
No. But I was reading in the paper today, which I think is very true. They say they have such terrifically convincing evidence, and all these little rumors that are going around, I think.
I think Oswald did it.
Yeah, no, the thing I'm bringing up, everybody's saying, yeah, but he couldn't have gotten those shots off in that time, and blah, 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 blah. But if they
I
sit
think I
down and
could've.
see how thoroughly they really investigated
5
this,
miles
sure
an
they
hour?
could. They shot off through with the
25 to
exact
30?
same gun in 3.5 seconds.
25 to 30.
Huh?
He
30
was
seconds?
moving 25 to 30 miles an hour.
No, 5.
He didn't have a
Is
a
that
clip. He
right?
used a clip, they said.
But if he didn't have a bullet, there was no recoil.
That guy on
Well,
television, that guy on television last night was firing the
In other
thing.
words, you went bang, bang, bang.
Are you sure the car
I
was
thought they
going
said it was a bolt
25
action.
miles?
That's
It
the report.
was a bold action, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, but if there's no bullet,
Oh, well, I just have to change my outlook entirely on
Here's the
that.
thing, did you
I
catch
think-
that bit
Well,
on
I don't-
television last night where that colonel from the
Yeah.
Marine Corps came in and
Yeah.
fired that thing supposedly? Were you watching that one?
No.
They had a demonstration, same rifle,
Oh,
I mean,
this guy.
same kind of rifle.
Well, they said that
and
he
all
had it
this
in a
business.
sling, though.
And a guy gets up
And
there
they
and,
didn't they
who
say
was
it took something
Some
like 20
guy
seconds
from,
for the 3 shots to
the
go off?
investigating organization or something. He gets up there and the guy
He
gives
had
the
him off faster
introduction.
than that.
on what they're gonna do. And he
I
says,
can't
I've got
see how
Colonel
there
so-and-so
could've
here
been
from
two
the
men in
Marine
there.
Corps that's going
I
to,
can't.
take
I
this
really
thing and
can't
fire
because
it and
they saw him
demonstrate
go
the
in,
fact
they
that you
saw
can
him
do
come
this
out, and they
in that length of
covered
time.
this building.
Now, he made two wrong statements, or he did two things wrong. First of all, he said that with the sling that comes on this rifle, it's possible to lock it in position so that it won't move off the target. Well, you know as well as I do, that's a bunch of hogwash. You can't possibly stop a rifle from recoiling.
Nope.
So that's number one. It will come off the target. And
better
if you're
believe it.
using the scope, you've got to find your target in the scope again.
And you want to know something else about that scope? That scope was about a 2-power scope, which means the best at 100 yards, the best was a 6-inch circle bigger than this that he could see with that scope.
Okay. Okay.
That
Now,
means
how do you
this
line
much.
something like that up on? I'll grant you. Supposedly.
I think that Mexican buddy that he has that was in there was there too.
Yeah, supposedly,
Oh, did he get
there's a guy running around down here at Camp Matthews that they took him out and put him on a rifle range in a prone position, with an M1, and he fired 75 consecutive bullseye without seeing the target. Now, this is possible, Fred. Yeah, it is. Because he's laying down, he's anchored in two places, just like if you had a tripod or a bipod on it, and all he's doing is firing it, rocking back in the same position, firing and going every time. This is entirely possible.
How far was the target away? 10 yards?
No, 300 yards,
How big is a bullseye at 300 yards?
10 inches.
Horse feathers.
Mm-hmm. No, stable, stationary.
Can't do it.
How moving was this?
You can do
Yeah.
it with a position
That's
choice.
what I mean.
I don't care how you get max. At 300 yards, if you're off a 16th of an inch,
No, it's not. I don't.
sighting
doubt you
in
could do
a
it.
10-inch circle, you'll miss it a foot.
Well, I'll tell you what
But
I'll
look at the
do.
position
I'll
you're
bet
in
you
to
I
shoot
can
at.
take an M1, and I can line up on that target, fire
300
one
yards.
I'd like to send any money in on this
I'll
one.
put
and a
'em-
10-inch bullseye.
Right.
And I can take one round and make sure it's in the bull, and I'll close my eyes and put the next 9 in it.
That's how small your target gets. True telescopic.
You're on.
Okay?
Well, I don't have an M1, but I've got a good man like her.
Give me a sling, and let me lay down to do it.
Was
Got a
it not
sling on it.
month?
Lay down to do it.
No,
Okay,
it wasn't.
fine.
And we'll go over here to Zeus, and I'll bet you $10 right now
It
you
might be a
can't.
big
You're
job
on.
for somebody who couldn't.
You have
shoot
to
very
change
well,
bullets.
but
It's not
I
automatic.
I can.
You have to move the bolt.
If there were two rifles, you
I can't do that.
An M1 is an
I can't do that.
taken out of Kennedy, and the bullets that were taken.
75.
out of the governor, they could
That
tell
means,
by
Max,
ballistic
that
tests
your body is
by
completely
by
rigid,
the bullets themselves.
They could.
completely rigid with no variance
Has a different marking on the bullet.
for 75 rounds. And I know, I've never shot an M1. They don't move, they won't kick as much as a bolt action gun, I know, of the same caliber, simply because they're gas operated.
I'll modify this much. I'll say you give me a clip with 8 rounds in it, and let me fire one at the bullseye and make sure it's on the target. And I'll put the other 7 in with my eyes shut.
They.
Without
they
having to
took
touch
the
that rifle
bullets
except
out,
fire
yeah.
it, I'll do it.
And no doubt they got the bullet out of the gun.
Yeah, if you'll buy that, your $10 bet's still on. I have that much confidence in the fact that the rifle is accurate and the fact that the sling
Yeah, they'll.
will nail it down. In that position,
Eventually.
in the prone position, but not standing and not.
Hi, Emery.
Because when
I guess that you've been listening to that conversation over there, Maxie and Freddie, and I don't know what it's all about. So many rounds this, so many rounds that. I wanted to, had in mind to sit down and write you a nice long letter. Never got around to it. Well, it was about 2 weeks ago when I noticed Pomona College on top in their conference. They had beaten Whittier. The only one so far was Redlands that had beaten Pomona College, but when they beat Whittier, Pomona moved into the top spot, and it looked for a while as if they were pulling through, and they would have come out on top, but the other day, they couldn't beat Occidental. They came through with 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. I think the score was 24 or something, 14, favor of Occidental this time. Otherwise, Pomona College would have been on top. So, well, anyway, it seemed to have had a good team this year. Well, we sat here today and had a lovely time, Thanksgiving dinner. the whole family, all except you, but we were talking about you anyway. But nevertheless, there's a damper on everything. Nobody is yet over that solar plexus blow we got last week when our president got shot to death down in Dallas. Very sad he went. Something uncalled for, and the whole calamity why the whole world is in deep mourning. Well, we've lost a good man. It'll be hard to replace, but what can one do? There it is. Now he's gone. Already a week down in, several days down in his grave. Well, so far so good. The affair I had with the state there on that compensation deal with the state commission came to a conclusion. That is, as far as the hearings are concerned. And I asked the lawyer what's the next move now. He said, well, just sit back till you'll be the referee, the state referee, that is, they call him Your Honor. He's like a judge in that hearing. He'll send you his decision. It'll take about a month, I guess. Whatever his decision will be, it seems, no doubt it'll be in my favor. Otherwise, it would have been informed right that day. So whatever he'll decide on, I don't know. The whole affair was something new to me. I'd never been through anything like it, so maybe I'll get a little money out of the deal. I don't know how much. Personally, I don't care. But they questioned me in high, wide, and in the length of a couple of hours. I was on the stand myself, just like in a court, under oath, about this cement poison deal and the allergy I developed about 4, 5, 6 years ago. And they just asked questions, the two lawyers and the state referee also and so forth. I just answered them the way they came to me, and to the best of my knowledge, I gave them the answer, and that came to a conclusion. But it took about 2 hours anyway. Well, now I'm waiting. Sometimes during the course of next month, I probably will receive the decision from the state referee, whatever it will be. I had in mind, just as a thought, to come down to Texas, and Mr. Jeske, we take his Lincoln, but this is just an idea. I told Mom about it, whether we could go down there and then bring you back for Christmas, but it is still pretty vague. I don't know what will come of it. I have to have the money first, and I have vacation coming, but one of the men in my outfit there quit, so we're short that one, and I'm worked in on the deal for field work anyway, and with rain in the offing and stream flow and this and that, there's a lot of work to be done, so I don't know whether it would be advisable to, although I'm the only one that didn't take summer vacation. At that time I hadn't come up to the 2 weeks anyway. Now it's over 2 weeks. By hours I have close to 100 hours coming on annual leave, so that would be sufficient, but I don't know whether it would be advisable to go in the middle of the winter when there's rain threatening and this and that. There's a lot of work to be done when they're a little handicapped, and the one guy took off, the young fella there, that Bob, he quit and went to another job. So I don't know. Anyway, that is what I had in mind. Maybe something may develop between now and then. Anyway, I guess you'll have a chance to come in again with someone from this neighborhood, which you usually do. That's what Mom expects anyway, so as far as my idea on that whole thing is concerned, it is nothing definite. I can't come to a conclusion on it, to make up my mind to go. It's too much, so far it's too much against this, so anyway, we'll be looking for you by Christmas as usual. Maybe we'll have a little good time there somewheres. Take a trip here or there, whatever we can cook up. Well, I hope you're getting along okay down there. Rosemary said it was the best part of her honeymoon trip, and it culminated in the visit with you down there. She enjoyed it very much. I'm glad to hear that. Well, anybody else here? Mama? Huh? Rosemary? Okay, here's Rosemary.
I am. I guess it's pretty full already. Everybody's probably said everything there is to say. I haven't exactly been listening. I've been playing with Aaron over here. Come here, Aaron. Hey, say something. Come on. Da, 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 da. Come on. Say something to Emery. Say something. Well, I guess she's not going to. She's been talking up a storm. Not real words, but the noises she makes. Well, it was a nice Thanksgiving. I'm sorry you couldn't be here with us. It was lots of fun. And as I said or wrote in my letter, I hope we get to see you at Christmas like the rest will be doing. We'll probably be home Christmas Day. Right, Jack? Christmas Day we're coming home? Night? Yeah. So, hope we'll get to see you then. Have you talked, Jack?
No, I talked to him before.
Oh. Well, I'm going to sign off for now. I can't think of anything to say. See you later. Turn off.
Emery, this is Jack again. I don't know if I'll be able to finish up the tape. Looks like we got a while to go here, but after Rosemary signed off last time, your mother or somebody yelled out the fact that nobody said hello to Brian. So I'll take this opportunity to wish him a happy Thanksgiving for today and a Merry Christmas and all that sort of nonsense. Sort of to sum up a little bit here, everybody come up here for Thanksgiving dinner. Your mother come up early and helped Rosemary cook the turkey. Mr. Chesky brought her up early in the day. Your father was down doing a small plastering patch job at the Cock-a-Doodle, and then he came up a little later in the day. And he and I worked, well, he worked and I watched while he was building some sort of a little rock retaining wall around our front yard. We're just using the rocks that are laying around in our yard, mostly in the backyard, and building a wall maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet high at most to sort of serve as a retaining wall and a little bit of a decorative wall too. So we worked on that until about 5 o'clock, and then after that dinner was just about ready, and Muriel, Jim, and Max and Loretta and Anita and Fred all showed up. And we ate about 6:30 or so in the evening. So the table is still loaded with the dishes out there. We all adjourned in here to the living room where we're sort of sitting around on the floor and little groups talking here and there, and that's how the tape has been passed around from one to the other. Probably a lot of the conversation of Max and Fred is a little bit incoherent because we tried to get the microphone on the floor, although I'm pretty sure they knew it was there. In fact, Max spoke directly to you on it. But it gets a little incoherent to listen to some of these conversations like that. Rosemary and I are doing pretty good up here. We've still got a lot of work to do in the yard. We've got the front yard pretty well dug up, and on either side of the entranceway in the front there's some dirt patches which we've leveled off and raked and put the fertilizer and peat moss and some plants in. We're going to put some ground cover in there. And then we've got a sort of a half-circle front yard that has an orange tree somewhat in the middle of it. Pretty well loaded with oranges, although they're a little small this year, possibly due to the fact that they didn't get too much water. But we've put a lot of weed killer down in that portion of the yard to kill the weeds, and they've raked it somewhat, and so most of the weeds are gone, and it looks pretty decent. It's around this semicircle portion that we're building this little rock retaining wall due to the fact that the lot slopes down towards the house, and so we have to try and level this front portion. The backyard is still in pretty poor shape, a lot of weeds and a lot of rocks and some piles of rocks back there. We have put in a lemon tree back there and a banana tree, which doesn't look like it's going to pull through. And near the back end of the lot we've got, I think it's 5 orange trees, 5 or 6, I'm not real sure which. So they're in real bad shape. They're pretty well dried out, although they have oranges on them, but I don't think the oranges will ever amount to anything this year for sure. So what I plan to do is cut back the limbs as much as possible, and I've already cleared the dirt and the weeds away from underneath the orange trees, and we've started watering them a little bit, dug a trench around them to try and get the water to concentrate around the roots. So I hope that we can pull them through, and that next year we'll have oranges off of those trees too. As far as the rest of the backyard goes, it's it's on a slope due to the contour of the land. So we'll have to level one side and make it a little lower and then have a rise and have one side of the yard a little higher. And the lower side we plan to just fill with grass, to have a nice large grass area. And the higher side we plan to put in a little bit of a garden of flowers and vegetables and an outdoor fireplace and miscellaneous trees along that side. That's where we've got our lemon tree, and also a small avocado tree that we got from one of the friends down in Chino. His name I can't remember right now. Well, I didn't quite make it to the end of the tape, so rather than just keep rambling on here, I'll quit for now, and then maybe Rosemary or your mother or father or someone else will finish up the end. I'm not sure if this is a regular size tape. When I looked at the box, I think Rosemary ended up buying an extra long one, so you'll probably be listening to this in short bursts rather than all at one sitting, because I don't imagine you have the time to just sit and listen to this nonsense and incoherency that we've got here. But anyway, I'll quit for right now, and somebody else will wind up the tape very shortly. See you soon.
Hi, this is Brome again. I'm glad we saved some of this tape so I could add a little something in conclusion. Of course, I haven't added any of my 2 cents yet anyway. First of all, let me say I'd like you to save this tape and not erase it. It certainly is a long one and probably will be somewhat boring to you, but it will be meaningful to us, especially that first side. I'm going to write a little page to guide you on the first side, since that was just a conversation at the table and it would be confusing. Most of us didn't even know that Mike was on the table, at least at the other end we didn't. So we weren't exactly directing our conversation towards it. You've been thoroughly informed about Thanksgiving dinner and orange trees and what have you, so I won't add any news of that sort. I might mention we have a pussycat, which you will enjoy seeing when you're here. She's a calico and just barely out of her own kittenhood, and we think she's pregnant. Maybe she'll even have kittens by the time you get here. But she's a lot of fun. And we were down at the folks today. This is Sunday. And apparently they received your tape on Friday, the same time we received your letter. So we played your tape. And several of us were there, Maria and Jim, Mom and I, and Jack and Anita. And so our tape isn't exactly in response to yours, since we recorded it before we heard yours. Well, let's see here. I guess that's about all I have to comment on. You said you would be home for Christmas, and we will be home on Christmas Eve, or Christmas night, I should say. So we will probably see you before you go back. If you want to come up here before we get home, that's perfectly all right. Or you can look around and everything, but I hope you'll come up for a visit also when we are home. And Jack mentioned that nobody had said hello to Brian. Well, we were certainly thinking of him. I intended to say hi, and we hope he is doing fine, and that his father is recovered well by now. And we'll miss seeing him, since he probably won't be coming here for the holidays, since his family is back there. So, how's that tape going? Oh, we still have some tape to go. Turn it off. Okay, I'm back again. I just don't like to keep chattering when I haven't got anything to say. Speaking of health problems, Mom seems to be developing arthritis or something in her elbows. I gave her some Flavahist rub, which she said sure helped the other day when she was here, but today when I was down there she said it wasn't actually getting through to the joints, just burning on the surface a little. Muriel isn't suffering quite so much with her gout as she used to, but I guess she still has trouble in her hands. She was saying that her fingers swell up at night. And Dad, you probably heard, maybe not. He is just finished with a real bad bout with his stomach. And maybe when you're here, I hope we remember to ask you about it. You might have some enlightenment for us. Corky and Paul are having quite a time with Eric. He suffers with something which seems like asthma to me. I witnessed his breathing on one occasion, and it sounded much like asthma. And Corky thought it was that, but the doctors tested him and said he didn't have asthma. It was some other pharyngitis or something of the sort. It doesn't affect his voice, but he has real bad tonsils, and he gasps for air and can't be laid down, can't lay down at night and that sort of thing. And I guess he gives them quite a scare on occasion. And Dr. Tucker hasn't given them too much satisfaction. So I think Corky's going to switch doctors. But anyway, we might discuss that. Also, we're interested to hear about this development with your side effects on this medicine you're taking for your narcolepsy. Sounds like you have something to tell us, and I hope you don't forget to do so in case we forget to ask when our visit may be kind of short when you're here. Turn it off. One last word, Em. The curtains aren't started yet, but I have hopes of getting them finished by the time you get here for Christmas. Our windows are still begging for covering too, so we'll hope.
Take your